Hello, Simon.
Nice to see you. Hello, Petra. How are you?
Nice to see you. I'm fine, thank you. Wow, it feels such a long time ago, but you were still in New York when I spoke to you. Are you still in New York at the moment?
Well, my home is here in New Jersey. It's always been and I recently moved. When did we last speak? Was that like,
I think it was in February or end of January. Yeah.
that's it. Yeah. So I moved home in March.
Yeah.
And I'm here on the waterfront of area called Perth Amboy in New Jersey. It's this very old, quiet, historical, nice, just nice old beaten up old house. Look, it's all messy behind me. I'm packing and yeah, so I've been here a couple of months now, and yeah, this is my new home. So no, but it's a nice big house with and I'm going to start some concerts here at home.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that's the point really. I just
Yeah.
I did some at my previous home, which had a big drawing room, high ceilings, and this place, the house, where the piano is, where I'm sat here, is in the was originally the porch. So, and back in I think the 1950s, it was filled in and with big windows. So there's fantastic light that comes in here, and you can open up double doors through all the way to the back of the house. So there's a potential for, like audience seating, and it's.
But I love these old buildings, because it makes I like of these old houses. There's a little place for everything, they sort of thought of space, and everything has a little function, and I love that. Yeah.
There are some wacky parts to this place. It's sad because it had fallen into disrepair and was empty for years, and so I bought it from a preservation company that flipped it, and they kept a lot of the original details. And one of the previous owners had his own sheetrock business, so I'm told. So some of the walls, like out of the Flintstones, got their like stone walls, and
oh, really?
There's lovely walnut flooring that's in great condition because it had been covered in carpet for decades, and so it's like a blank canvas thing. It's been painted all one sort of vague color, and me, I'm just waiting for little inspirational things. I'm going to do some painting soon, and make it all homely. It's certainly got more than enough space for all my junk and all my plants and music and pianos and cats and books and all that, and pictures.
But I lived in an old house in South Africa, and started renovating slowly, cleaning the paint off the doors. It was also a type of a Victorian style, and it never ended, because then every time I see, oh, I want this and I want this done, and now I want this door clean, and now so it kept going and going and going. But the wonderful thing is, then the house becomes so a part of you, because you do all these things, and you do it the way you like it, and I love that about the old houses, that you can do that.
Exactly. And I've always lived in older buildings, and my mum and dad, I think as my parents got older, my dad wanted to move to a more sensible bungalow and something more modern that wouldn't need maintaining so much, and my mum wasn't having any of that. She loved her old houses with an old soul, and this is 1890.
Okay, so
it's the same age as my piano, yeah. So, and it's got problems, of course, and there's cracks here and this and that, and it is it's like a lifetime project. But we just love the house so much, and we saw it in last August, and just made sure we, well, thankfully got it eventually. It took a while because I had to sell my place. And yeah, I mean, I'm a home person if I'm not traveling, which I'm obviously not at the moment. But if I'm not planning for concerts, rather, I've certainly been traveling a lot to England to see my dad. But if I'm not on the road, then I love entertaining at home. Well, entertaining at home would be nice. I mean, this is very much a party house in potential, and but I'm a home person, and we're going to have a first party this Friday for my son's 14th birthday. His birthday.
Oh, okay.
So I'm probably mad, but we've allowed him to invite about 20 friends.
Oh, okay. Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
My children are luckily at the age now where they do their parties in their time, in their places, and I don't have to do anything. Now and again I get invited by my daughter if she has a party, but it's only because her friends sometimes ask, is your mum coming? And then she says, oh, okay, I'll have to invite her then.
That's it. Yeah.
So, well, yeah. But yeah, but listen, I've actually been to my first home concert or living room concert, or what you call it now, in Vienna.
Great.
And I love it. I think it's wonderful. Yeah. You know, the closeness, and then it's also the small group of people, and then, you know, when was a pianist and a violinist, and this connection I find very fascinating. So I think it's wonderful that you're going to do your concerts there, or some concerts there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I do these online things every day on Facebook, and Steinway are having me do these Spirio casts, meaning I will play piano here, and the technology will link up to people that tune in. If they have a compatible Spirio piano, their keys will go down, so they're in effect hearing me playing their piano, that sort of thing. And so we're setting up webcams here. And I've just installed this, you know, ridiculous internet, I hope, system, and had treatments done on the windows, and I need to get some curtains put up. But we're going to make the room look nice, and I'll broadcast from here, from home, and it's going to be. Originally, they had me Simon Mulligan at Steinway Hall. But now it's going to be from, while everything's still crazy outside, it's going to be from here at home, which is very, very nice to know, you know. So I can, So I thought, well, in addition, when we're allowed more people in the home, which I think we are in this area of the country anyway, we'll have audience seating as well, and just reach as many people as possible. So, live music. And it must have been wonderful seeing this recital and you were able to. What's the social distancing like there now?
Well, it was actually, it took a while. It was every time it was postponed, and I think we were about 8 or 9 people in the living room. But by then it was like you had to just prove, you had to bring a test result or being vaccinated, and it was fine. I mean, we were all just not standing too close to each other, and the chairs, it was all a bit spread out and so on, but it was nothing uncomfortable, or nobody was, you know, like that, you know. It was quite normal and quite It was wonderful because it was just after our lockdown finished, where our restaurants and so on opened. But the reason why I wanted to speak to you again was because I've been doing about 120 interviews since I spoke to you,
right.
and when after I spoken to you, I went in my son's room and I said, my goodness, I'm so fascinated by everything you said, and then of course I've spoken to other people on the phone as well, and I said I wish I could have recorded this, because I think it's so needed that everybody hears it, because we were still then in lockdown, and what I sensed from people were everybody was very sort of I wouldn't say depressed, but the whole mood in Vienna was very low, and everybody I spoke to was sort of thinking, well, this has to finish now. And then I thought, because I never used Zoom, and then I thought, okay, let me record these interviews, maybe people will be interested to hear it. And then I started recording it, and people were so interested in I put it on YouTube and put little clips of it on Facebook and Instagram, and I get so much great response. And I was telling everybody about, well, I would say probably 60 of the interviews, I was saying, there's a pianist in New York called Simon Mulligan, and he does.
They all slammed the phone down on you. What did they do? I dread to think.
Because I was speaking about this thing where artists, what do? You have to carry on and you have to do things. And of course, some people were saying, don't do any music online. And people like you go on and you go online. And I find it fascinating. And also that you discuss the music, that you discuss what are you playing, and there's always something that you have, and a little story or whatever. And I think this is a wonderful connection, and I think also that you play this a vast amount of music, like this all this different types of music.
Now coming up to tonight will be the 392nd soiree, little piece. Yeah. So, oh, thank you. Yes, it's sort of. I mean, I don't know if it's gaining momentum. I'm not actively promoting it. I'm not. I should be doing a million more things to get more people listening in. But I just like it. It's always been a bit like just winding down in a way at the end of an evening, even though I record early evening time over here, and making it, and it's totally on a whim. I don't know what I'm going to play tonight. It's people kindly send requests, and I have a list, but it'll be 5 minutes before I play. I'll think, oh, I'll do this or I'll do that, and it's very much a yes, I could practice 10 hours a day and play the complete transcendental studies of Liszt. I mean, I don't want to do anything that's a separate thing. I'd rather, I think I said when we spoke last time, I want these things to be short and bite-sized and little 5 minutes. There we go. Because, I'm not I'm a fan that if I play a full recital, it's got to be decent sound and ideally live, and I'm not going to stop people from tuning in online, of course, but that's a different kettle of fish, as we say. So the Soirée Selections series, salons, all S's, salon series, it's purposefully been just like a little just relaxing, number one, for me, and I hope the listener, whoever's tuning in, and just playing tunes that I like, so it can be stuff, a lot of it's me sight reading. It's like, oh, I never knew I had this piece of music. So it's been chance to put my music in order. I think I told you that last time. I was sort of cataloguing everything and think, oh look, wow! And then you just go off on a tangent and you think, oh, Arensky wrote some wonderful piano. You know he did, and you know that his teacher did that, and you think, okay, and it's very exciting. It's very because otherwise, they're just sitting on a shelf, and the speed of every normal life, these things just sat on a shelf, and it's up to us pianists and musicians, and even if I was an actor or a writer, sort of things that sit on a shelf, books, whatever it may be, plays, need to be put out there, and I favour good tunes, and it doesn't matter what style it is, and it's nice to sort of give them an airing, like that. And these, and so like I played Cyril Scott the other evening, a British composer, who was the piano teacher of my piano teacher's teacher, and in the lineage to Beethoven, Czerny, Liszt, Leschetizky, etc., etc. We're all 6 degrees away from Beethoven, aren't we? And I thought, who else is playing his music right now in the world? I hope there is, but it's just a little spark of that old thing, and it's nice, and I think well, you know why I started it, don't you? My mum passing away last March, and I got back here at the end of March, and I'm the last person to say I'm feeling low or I'm feeling this. I'm very I'm always optimistic, and I don't like to complain about anything, but I realized that sitting and playing the piano, which I don't do a lot, I have to say. I'm not one of those pianists that has a routine of however many hours practice a day. I mean, people hate me for this, but I don't. The piano is obviously my friend, and but it really is when I'm in the mood for it. So it was good to sort of make myself sit at the piano every night and play a tune, and then it really was like this is so good. It was like a nice feeling of wow, when the world's going mad around us, and when there's a power cut or the internet shuts down, the apocalypse, whatever, the piano, or musical instruments will always be there, we hope, and it's a good connection to free up the mind, as we know and love, and so this sounds sounding so pretentious, isn't it? So no. It's cathartic. It's exciting, and it's infuriating, because you really think, like I imagine great writers and actors, the same thing. You think there's so much wonderful repertoire out there, and I look at my bookshelves here, and I'd love to read more books. My mum was a great reader. I was very close to my godfather, who was a theatre director and writer, and I think, wow, and one lifetime's not enough. So that's the infuriating part, isn't it? It's I like going to concerts. You think, well, I want to see that. I want to hear all the sonatas of this person, or I want to see this person, So, but that's the excitement. That's what keeps us going and feeling youthful, I think, and it's a very it's what we need.
Yeah, but what I love so much what you did was that you kept going. You literally, and I must admit, for me it was really inspiring, because I at times with my project that I was doing, when I got tired, and sometimes I just doubted what I was doing, if it was worth it, and then these soirees of yours, or these posts of yours came constantly. I mean, I cannot remember that you skipped. I think when you moved house or something, there was a time, or it wasn't.
Skipped one night, no. And even when I would go to England.
Yeah, you at your dad's, you also did it, yeah.
So
yeah.
I rented a piano from my old piano tuner, who I hadn't seen for decades. It was lovely to catch up with him, and that was talk about regression to your childhood and all this, because my dad is not, he's housebound, he's very frail, but he's got a great mind still, thankfully, and he hadn't heard me play the piano in front of him for over 10 years.
Really?
Well, in fact, it wasn't, it may have been I got him to a concert in Richmond, Surrey, in England, and I did a concerto with their Richmond orchestra, symphony orchestra, because David Attenborough, I think I told you, worked with my dad in their early days together. They went around the world filming uncharted parts of the globe. They were the first sort of people certainly to film, and it was just the two of them, not like wildlife documentaries now with big crews. I mean, it's just my dad and David, and my dad with the camera and the tripod and the sound, the Nagra sound gear, and so anyway, I accepted this concert in Richmond, and I think that was the last time. And David Attenborough came along. It was lovely to see him there, and we went back to his home for dinner and chatted away. And but I'm digressing. It was such a nice feeling to sort of apologise to my mum's spirit in the house, because the house is a little cottage where he lives now alone, and my mum, so many lovely things, and bookshelves and pottery that she made, and paper mache that she made, and plates, and everything sort of nicely organized chaos, as it were, on the walls, and I had to move things around. I said, Mum, I'm going to put a piano here.
Oh.
Just about fits, little upright piano there in the living room that I could play for my dad, and I kept the soirees going, and I've been managing to get over there every 4 to 6 weeks for the last year and a bit, and I would sometimes pre-record a whole bunch of them here, because with the virus going on, I thought, I don't want anyone telling me I can't go. A few people got a bit, oh, you're not allowed to go to England. I thought, I know what I'm allowed to do. I'm not going to break the law, which I didn't, but I didn't, I thought, well, so I would record about 7, or depending how many days I was going away, 7 to 10, 12, all in a batch in one day.
Oh, okay.
And changing my t-shirt and trousers every time.
Oh, okay.
Change my hair and change.
You thought of everything, yeah.
Oh yeah, set. I dressed the set. Yeah, moved the cat behind and plumped up the cushions, and then I would carry on. So in other words, I haven't missed out. No, not one day has gone by. The only day I didn't play was the the Black Lives Matter day that was suddenly came across very suddenly, and I must say, of course, I'm in agreement with fellow musicians, but I thought back to the people I've been lucky to work with, like Yehudi Menuhin and Quincy Jones, and who would sort of say, music is the most powerful, keep it going. And I would have said, we need more music to combat awful, whatever you want to, racism, poverty, war, etc. But that was the one time I didn't play, and so it's been going on. So it's still going. 392 tunes. Now the difficult thing is finding a piece of music that I haven't already played.
Oh, okay.
Lots of people don't realise you can still see and listen to all the others. They're all on Facebook and Instagram, and it's been great. I mean,
Yeah.
necessarily evil that it is. You know, it's
No, but I think this has been for me on Facebook such a constant, you know, really constant. You started and you carried on, and I think I found you, or I discovered you around. It was, you haven't done 100 yet. It was around that time, I think, because I when it was the 100th one, you said that somebody could, that people could make a request. And I was thinking, wow, 100, are we here already? You know, but look, where are we now? You know, it's already 300 and
and maybe I should stop. I don't know. I mean,
no, please don't.
Run out of tunes. I mean, I don't want to have to learn something. No, it's good.
No, I think it's
and I like putting myself on the spot in a way. I mean, you know, and last night I played Happy Birthday for my son. I thought, well, he'd want me to play. I mean, he loves all sorts of rock bands and stuff. And I thought, well, let's just play Happy Birthday. And I realised I hadn't had a chance to sing him Happy Birthday yesterday, which was silly. I mean, we took him out to lunch and saw Alex Rodriguez in this restaurant we were at, and he and I thought, hey, I didn't sing Happy Birthday to my boy. So anyway, that's why I did that.
So
and,
you know,
and
is he also a musician? I mean, is he also interested in music?
He's also a complete genius. You know, he's very he is. He loves the drums. That's his passion.
Oh, okay.
And he's been playing since he was about 7. And in fact, unbeknown to him, I have bought him a drum kit for his birthday, which he will. I'm going to see him tomorrow. He'll open, some cymbals from. It's frustrating to help the kit because of the virus. There's a backlog, so hasn't arrived in time for his birthday. But so this special Ludwig, they say Ludwig over here, Ludwig drum kit, and. So yeah, I mean, he's always liked the drums, and he's picked away at the piano. I've never forced him to do anything, and it's lovely just seeing him, you know, like saying, "Oh, hey, Dad, show me this, show me that," and he'll just to see him sat at the piano, and I don't say, "Oh, good, you're playing the piano." I just say, "Hey," and he's like, "Yeah," and he comes to my concerts and sits in occasionally on the drums with in the jazz.
Really?
Yeah,
it's lovely. Yeah,
it's lovely, and he's you know, and it's nice. And at school they have bands, and he's done a bit of alto saxophone, but of course the sax player of my jazz group in London is very excited that, you know, he loves the sax, but he's sort of put that on the shelf for a bit now, and it's exciting. Yeah, he listens to all sorts of things, and I'm always throwing things at him, like, try this, try that, and seeing him put a record on a record player, and that was a very good fatherly moment of like, oh, good. And cassette tapes as well.
Yeah, it's funny how we think that the children don't. I mean, my children don't know this, the record player or the, you know, that's they download everything.
Yeah, you hear more record. Yeah. Dare I say,
I've spoken to many to a few musicians in America, and we also talk about this fact that the education system, if there's enough for children to do music in America, and I hear that it differs from state to state, because America, so now I understand it's so different from one state to the other. So how is it where you are? Could your son, say, for example, do music at school from a young age?
Yes, there's music. I mean, he changed schools last year, so he just finished, well, the second year at this new place, 2 years ago. There's I haven't sensed any lack of music or the arts at his current school or his previous school. His previous school really had and still has, I'm sure, a wonderful arts department, and I don't, as I understand it, I don't think there's been any limitation on what they can do or what's offered to the children or students. I love teaching and passing on all my bad habits, and I love to give classes when I can, and I don't know enough about the local government system, I'm afraid. My fiancée, she is opera singer and vocal teacher, has a large studio, and she's dealt with the local government here, and she had a teaching position at a charter school in Newark, New Jersey, which was inner city kids, and she loved it. It was very sort of intense because these were kids that need sort of controlling and educating, that are just very need some sort of routine in their lives, and it's lovely, even though the school unfortunately was dissolved. So it's sad, it just didn't work out and they closed the school, but she still talks to some of these kids who she's become like an agony aunt, to them, because they and they say, "Oh, I'm singing this song," because as we know, music should be for everybody and doesn't matter where your background, and so she's the person to ask about the way it's working in this country. I've never had a teaching position in this country, sorry, I can't help.
But it's like you said also, when you talked about the Black Lives Matter protest, or the situation, that in some way the art is such a wonderful way to bring people together, that I wonder if it would be amazing if children could be taught art in schools, and that it is taught alongside maths and science, for example, and that it doesn't have to be necessarily music, but I mean, if you take, music is actually part of dancing as well, so it's all that.
They like to. I mean, I know that my school in London, St. Paul's, has changed a lot. I think changed a lot, but I know that they've been at the mercy of an ever-changing government education system there, and my goddaughter, who's now 18, she was mucked around with A levels, and the government changing their mind on regrading some things, and GCSEs, the exams that we teach, taking 15, 16. They're always trying to phase things out and change things, and I was caught up in that a bit when I was a student at the Royal Academy of Music. I was there when they were trying to merge with a college, University College of London, to offer a certain degree that was a college degree, and it is a shame in that you have one crack at the whip, in all this, and you're not going to be a teenager again, and I personally wish I had branched out more and just explored more when I was at school, given the opportunity to go to open days. So teacher say, "Oh, where's so and so? Oh, he's at Cambridge, open day, gone to this college, or he's up in Edinburgh." Hey, I could have done that. I could have taken a day off school with the school's permission to go and explore. And I haven't sort of dismissed the idea that I really do want to do something more musically academic, do some sort of, I don't know, thesis or some get immersed in something. And I mean, I've got a whole bunch of orchestral scores here I'd like to conduct, and I feel that my life is not just playing the piano and playing any old style of piano. I want to get beneath the surface a bit more on things, and I did plenty of that while doing A-level music, Paul's, but and at the Royal Academy of Music, but it was very fractured. It wasn't because there isn't enough time. It was a 3-year course, and I'd like to get back into that a bit. Yeah.
And but do you think it's this time that made you think of that? This time of the pandemic?
No, I've always thought I want to do more something. I don't want to give up playing concerts, but I'm so restless when I finish a tour or finish a recital. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the next one, and it's not a fear of slumping back down, but that sort of expectancy for something else to happen. And obviously, if I've just really got involved in learning what a sonata by whoever, Koffiev, or learning something different and new, and I always love to learn new repertoire, of course, then it makes me think, well, I should know more about the politics of what was going on in the country, and why a certain amount of, well, that was Shostakovich's answer to the Russian this and the government that, and there's a lot of that, and I think, well, I should, how far do you go? And I've always had a lifelong love of all sorts of composers, but particularly Beethoven, and so he's someone as we chatted, loved stumbling on his homes in Vienna, so I think, well, I should do more there. I'm happily impatient with it all, I think.
Oh, okay.
And it's obviously, but at the same time, when there's nothing going on, as it were, in this situation, I do need, I get the inertia can set in. So it's funny to think, well, why don't you, like now, it's like, well, why don't I paint the walls and do this and do that? It's like, well, it's getting in that frame of mind that I've always found difficult. I can concentrate and commit to things, but that's the cruelty of moving into a new house. It's like, where do I start? Where do I? You know what? Just do this, do that, and then it's more rewarding when you do focus and play the piano. I mean, I've always found it difficult to play the piano knowing there's washing up to be done in the sink. I just need to be calm, and some sort of order of pictures on the walls and music home, and because when we play, I don't want to look at my hands or the keys. I want to just look around the room and you things to inspire your ears, what you're listening to and playing, and so yes, I need to. Concentrating more on that.
No, I totally get that. I saw a video on YouTube about a woman who made soya sauce, and it takes a year for the soya to ferment. I didn't know that, but it takes a year for the soya to ferment to become soya sauce.
Wow.
And she actually started just before lockdown. She didn't realize it was going to be the pandemic, but she started her soya sauce, and then of course, through, and you have to stir it every night. And then after a year, and then, yeah. And when I saw that, I think, how wonderful is it to think that this thing takes a year. Every day you do something a little bit, but after a year, it's only after a year it's ready. And I mean, it's like this little bottle of soya sauce.
Brilliant.
But isn't it wonderful to think it doesn't have to, doesn't have to be in a half an hour. It can be in a year. It can develop and become something.
Like growing, I mean, the garden here, I dug up a patch of garden to make a herb garden. So exciting. And I'm just looking at these things I've planted, spearmint and oregano and rosemary and thyme and some lavender, and I think, wow, look, you know, it's I love it. I mean, it's really exciting. I mean, my mum loved plants and flowers, and so I think, right, come on, I'm going to take over the green fingered responsibilities now, and it's oh yeah, the best. Yeah, no rush. It's and that's why, I mean, going back to, you know, on the old piano playing thing, it's I've never, you know, I had that sort of pushy, you know, I've never had a management team or good management pushing me. I mean, you know, I've always just said to myself, no rush, you know, and I'm glad that my parents didn't parade me around some cabaret circuit with all the weird things I could do as a young child, and oh, your son's a prodigy, he should be on. And it's like, no, he's going to get a proper education, he's going to normal friends, normal school. I'm grateful for that, and that's more important.
Yeah.
Educating your musical mind is, you know, so and that's why I have, you know, I encourage my son to play, of course, but it's like, it's your own, you're doing it, it's your own journey. And I say that to students, I say your best friend and enemy is yourself, because only you can say, oh, that was a fluke that I got that passage correct, I'll do it again. I mean, you know, and you have to talk to yourself, and that's the silence when you're not playing. It's just, you know, so
and I think this is interesting that you say that, because many of them younger musicians that I spoke to, and that I photographed here in their windows, it was almost a sense as if they enjoyed this time off, you know, that they didn't have this pressure. And I was actually speaking to a girl, a harpist at the Royal Academy. Is it Royal Academy of Music? No, the Royal College of Music. Which one is it?
Well, there are two. Two different, totally different music colleges.
Okay, but and she said she's from Greece, and she said that she went home and spent time there, and it was the first time in many years that she actually had a holiday with her family and her friends, and she could lie on the beach and just not worry about, you know, oh, I have to prepare for something, or an exam or a concert or so. I think you're right, you know, that this has been a good time for them as well.
It has, for creativity, and financially it's been awful, but it's very yes, you're exactly right. It's a time to remind everyone that the world needs to slow down. I mean, obviously the virus is horrible, but and people, just slowing everything down, and
And I think also we've discovered things that, well, this is what I hear from everybody. They discovered things that they, in other circumstances, wouldn't have done. You know, they've done things that they probably wouldn't have done. And I wonder with you as well, that these little concerts that you're doing, it wasn't something that you did before.
No, exactly right. I mean, I would enjoy programming in recital, little gems and things, you know, hey, what do you think of this piece? And talking to the audience, and I'd never heard of that composer. Well, all this, and but you're exactly right. It's a very good learning tool, learning curve for me, and it's yeah. I mean, in England, my parents' house, I'm lucky to now own a lot of the sheet music that belonged to my teacher from the Royal Academy of Music, and his daughter, who lives near my parents' house, kindly said, "Well, look, take this," and so suddenly I've got another batch of, like, it's like, oh wow, and I need to ship it over here, and but I bring little bit morsels over, and you hear me play, I'll say, "Well, this is from my piano teacher's collection," and it's nice to add to the gaps, because music is so expensive to buy now, and I'm a big fan of rifling through antique shops, of course, and finding things, and so it's it's good to broaden your mind and find new things, and as a musician in general, it's been there's no reason for it not to have been a creative time, and not to have boosted the brain a bit.
But do you have a wish for the future? Do you have a wish for when everything is, I would say, a new normal, or when things are a little bit back to how we are used to it?
Like a personal wish, or like a
personal, and whatever wish you have. Have you thought about how you would see, what you would have liked to do in the future?
Well, I would just like everything to be comfortable and relaxed, and for my brilliant son, and my, I don't I mean, cliche, but I hate deceit and narcissism and arrogance and mediocrity dressed up as whatever. I like just pleasant, honest things and people, and I'd like gosh, I wish I'd like to take my playing back around again, and I'm very close to my boy, and I'm hoping maybe when he goes off to college, not that I want to send him off a million miles away or anything, but whatever he wants to do, I hope I'll be touring more then, and just enjoying playing. I mean, playing stage, and that's why we do it. And we just like to, it's funny, we can be very modest, unassuming people, but on stage you want to, that's your, hey, look at this, without showing it. It's just, hey, listen to this great music, and I know that I don't play all sweaty and sort of arms throwing around, and I just like to just let it, down it comes, flow it through, and just advertise all the great music out there. So old music, old soul, old house, and a son who makes me feel younger, because he keeps me. He's so sporty. Sport is his passion.
Is it?
And that mode is.
And then you have to run around and do things with him, yeah.
Keep in shape. So I'm 48 now.
That's wonderful. That it is like that,
Yeah.
To have a younger, to have a young boy, and especially a boy, I think for a man is not challenging, but in that sense that you have to now be physical and to do all these things.
Gosh, he's taller than me, and he thinks he's stronger than me. No, he is. I mean, he's incredibly wrong? And he likes to sort of test me and really things like this. So, and I say, oh, my hands, I can't. And it's like, and so he's boxing, and he'll have me hold the pads for him to punch against. And he'll say, Dad, you okay? I say, yeah, it's fine. I'll let you know if, And occasionally he'll smack something, and I go, oh, hang on a minute, I need my wrist, I've never been all namby-pamby about not getting involved in something bad, but
thank you so much, and for that I could record this as well, because it's just a conversation that I have with everybody, and I think it's wonderful that we would be able to listen to all, because what artists are saying for me is very interesting, and how you deal with this time, and how you deal with the fact that, because what everybody is also saying, like you saying, be back in the concert hall, or be back doing concerts, and have this energy from you and the audience, this back and forth communication, and I think this is the reason why I wanted to record this also, is that people understand this more, because I think also we have a misconception sometimes about your lives and how you see it, and especially now that you also say that you don't necessarily play every day, or that you're not 8 hours in front of the piano, and those things, we don't have this knowledge or this idea of an artist.
Well, that's just a method of practice. I don't know, I was, of all the wonderful pianists I've been lucky to study with in my life, it's just I've developed like a very focused way. I don't say, when parents of children or whoever I'm teaching, oh, you tell him, her that you've got to practice 6-7 hours. I bet you practice. I say, no, but doesn't mean don't practice. And I'd say technique is so important. So yes, Hannah Pishner, technical exercises, scales, and but not just playing them, and really knowing how to listen. And lovely Alexis Weissenberg, my last major teacher, he said it's these are more important than the hands in many ways, because only you can make the best use of your time and actually listen to what you're doing, rather than, oh, I played scales for an hour. Well, did you play them, or did you really know what's going on? And it's like that with a piece of music. I always come at a new piece of music, the same approach. It's like slow cooking. You put in chop it up, all the ingredients, get it all slowly simmering away, and just play the whole piece slowly, like the composer wrote adagio. If it says whatever it says, ignore the tempo mark and make it as musical and it really slows it, the heartbeat down, and giving it a pulse and a musical feel very, very slowly. And then when you pick it up, you're putting you're sort of layering it, you're not rushing into anything. And so I don't rush into anything. That's the bottom line of this. And therefore, the most complicated piece of music, I say it's not difficult. I don't say any piece of music is difficult, because the guy who wrote it wants you to buy the music and play it and perform it. And a good composer will write pianistically, or for the shape of the hand, etc. So I've always, that's it, like what I do every evening here. So, I don't practice for hours when I'm going to play. You will hear me say, let's see what we have here, and I'll play it. And I, obviously, if I make a million mistakes, I'll do it. But I just almost like just pull it out, really just extract it, and there we go, and thank you very much, and that's it, and obviously preparing a recital is different, but even that, I like to leave a lot for the performance, because adrenaline takes over, and we have that element of I'm performing, it's such an important part of the learning process, and so yeah, I mean, be prepared,
Mm.
but not over prepared. You don't want to sound
Mm.
stale. You want to sound. If you want to have one sound, you've got to adapt to the piano, to the room, to the hall, to the cell phone going off, to whatever's going on. You just are in control, and you can change things. Or if you're playing solo, all the touring I played with Joshua Bell, and obviously his string would snap occasionally, just things would happen, not through his fault or anything, and no stick on the piano. You just learn to adapt, and so and it all comes from going at it slowly. I'm rambling on again.
But no, but it's true, but I can sense that from your playing also, the way you go and sit down, the way you sit and go and play. It's very relaxed, and it's very sort of it's really chilled the way you do it. And I think it's that sort of thing that also the audience sense from the artist, when somebody is like that, really at peace or relaxed, and then the music comes, and that is that energy. So I think
you feel relaxed and comfortable, and that's the most important thing of all. Exactly. And like a good, I don't know, a good actor, so you just you want to get involved, and they invite you in and to share the performance. So
I love your T-shirt, by the way.
This is the NAMM show that one of the last things I arranged a whole load of tunes for Steinway, Conselma, and last 2020, there wasn't a show this year.
Was it one of your performances that you had this?
This is the big music convention in California every January.
I see.
And, I play some stuff with Steinway's they put on a concert and for their clients, and they all their Steinway make own Conselma that makes woodwind and brass instruments, and so we put together a band, and it was fun. I arranged a whole load of funk tunes and pop songs and Herb Alpert and that's got the T-shirt for my son. Yeah, my boy.
Okay.
Now I steal his T-shirts because he's my son.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope he has fun with his drum kit, and have a lovely afternoon.
Oh, yeah, well, anytime. Happy to chat anytime.
Okay, Simon.
Pleasure to catch up.
Lovely. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye.